He's heating up!
Come up, hey, let's be with that drama, hey, saw that baddie mama, hey, told her I don't wanna, hey, come up, hey, let's be with that drama, hey, saw that baddie mama, hey, told her I don't wanna, hey.
Went out, caught me a red fly. Too many people on a bandwagon. Done been through that hellfire. Came out lethal like a red dragon. Same old rapper with the same old flows. Color dreads with the pants sagging. Got that fame, but you sold your soul. You a warlock, I'm the dark assassin.
Boom shakalaka!
Mode change, big bags, faux chains. Get that money, said big facts. No gains, big stats, mo fame. We backs done, said big
Boom shakalaka!
On stage, big trap, no shame. Going and running that big check. My name, sign that, mo rain.
He's on fire!
Come up, hey, let's be with that drama, hey, saw that baddie mama, hey, told her I don't wanna, hey, come up, hey, let's be with that drama, hey, saw that baddie mama, hey, told her I don't wanna, hey.
The following program is rated TV MANOC. It contains a big pair of nuts directly on your chin. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Go to the fucking gym.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
Swole Normuth.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testicles, testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 31 hundo of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleevescast, and slaycast in Zahrael. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, bustas, hustlers, and yeelhoes? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode, and today's episode of the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered by Everest and K2 flexing on all you beach. Fam, happy Swoloween. It is October the 30th Schwam. Happy Swoloween. I can absolutely not fit that all on one line. So you got two lines. Happy Swoloween, everyone. Hopefully you are enjoying yourself. And people always ask, what are you doing for Halloween? It's Thursday, man. Working, making gains. Getting shit done. I know a lot of you that went to Halloween events, usually you do it the weekend before. But if you are out and about, be safe. If you're out enjoying your family, you're out with your kids, I understand. I know it's a late show, but this is the time that it got done today. And I hope you're enjoying it and being safe out there. So some of you are saying, nice shirt. And I really got to I might change the camera angle a little bit. You know, we might mix up the show a little bit coming up in 2025. But I need to get these shirts more visible. Look at this. We got the Let me get a little America here. Brand new shirt. Actually, this came in 2 days ago. Got it 2 days ago.
America! Fuck yeah!
Yeah, that's a hell of a print. So that's my brand new lift shirt. So, yo. The print quality is absolutely unreal on this. The detail is unreal. You can see the Project GTTFG in the bottom. How's yours, Sheena? This is crazy. It's just so detailed. You see the beer logo and the top secret? It's great. The fit is great. It's fantastic. Oh, it's great. I'm making gains, fam. I'm making gains. I actually had to increase my size. I had to increase my size.
Wow.
The large was getting a little tight. So I went with the XL and, ooh, it's nice. I think I'm going to stay here for a while. I enjoy the fit. It's comfy, flowing. Sheena says, mine is fire. Got it in red. Yeah, I have one. I have in red here too. I have in red. Yeah, it's under. I have 2 tanks and I got this shirt. I might get a couple different colors. That's fucking great. So much detail. So much detail. Anyway, it's a great shirt. So papasolio.com, 20% off the entire site. But before that, how many of you got your signature series? I know there's a lot of stuff going on. We got the app coming. We have the new merch. It's Halloween. We're talking about, this is a complete coincidence that we do it every 100 episodes. So I don't know what date it's going to land on, but we didn't plan this. We don't plan. So for those of you that might not be familiar with the signature series, on episode 2000, we launched the signature series. So it's 1 day only, 1-time print. So we do special designs, inside jokes, stuff, just stuff from the podcast and from the Swole fam. So some of them have been really trolling. Some of them, they're all great shirts, but they're all unique. We do different styles, but it's a 1-time print. It's really inner circle type shit. So if you're a follower of the show, you're a part of the Swole fam, you know, and we should probably have, we don't really go over the previous, people just share pictures and they shout them out, but we don't really advertise what they are publicly on the show once we send them out. But this one, all that to be said, this one is still live today. So swolenormousx.com/signature. swolenormousx.com/signature. So if you have not yet got your signature series, and we've done these, this is the 12th release. So we've done them every 100 episodes, which is every 100 days since episode 2000. So this is a special one. This is a special one, an ugly Christmas sweatshirt, and it's available today only. So the countdown timer is on the page, depending on what your time zone is. Just go and see how much time is left. Only a couple hours left. So swolenormousx.com/signature. And we're going to get these out shortly because we want to make sure you have these. So for those of you that got P3S11, those were delayed, like I've mentioned, but they're going out. So you're going to get, if you're getting this one too, you're going to get both of them probably around the same time. So this one's not going to this one's going to ship out soon. So we're getting up to date, like I said, with the app and all the other stuff. We've had a bunch of stuff going on. Things got pushed back from earlier in the year. And you know, when things get pushed back, it just kind of sandwiches and accordions up. So we're getting things, hopefully should be back nice, smooth and swole because we have the app coming out. So that's the most important thing, which is why some of these things got pushed back. But anyway, so swolenormousx.com/signature, 20% off all merch. We got a lot of stuff going on. So again, super awesome. Thank you so much for everyone that has picked up their ugly Christmas sweatshirt. You don't know what it's going to look like. I can just guarantee it's going to be swole. And it's going to be probably just ugly as fuck. Puce. The whole thing's going to be done in puce. If you don't know what puce is, it's just an ugly ass color. And here are some of the releases. And then we're going to get into some Swole fan posts. The GTTFG Hope design. Lift, which is what I'm rocking right now. Awesome detail. Tallow and butter running for office. And those are all the ones that I have here in this little accordion. But we have Optimus Pump. We have Swoleverine. We have Deadlift, the Deadpool design. So Christmas is coming up. So it's November. Christmas is coming up. You know, we're going to have, there's Black Friday coming up and all that stuff, or it's Black Swole month. We usually do, but all the specials and people are getting holiday gifts and stuff like that. So check out the merch specials, 20% off. Papasolio.com. Let's get into that tip, shall we? Beaches, are you ready? Pwah. Babe, just an inch. It's cold outside. Very nice. A picture of Tessie. We already have that merch. We already have Tessie merch, don't we? Aww. #Swoleween for a chance.
Hi, puppy.
Hello, dear. for a chance to win today's Swole card. Let's get into the first one. Man, we got a little bit of a novel. Christy's no longer here. Rest in gains, Christy. Rest in leg day. But Shane might be pulling up the rear for long posts. So
What's in the box?
Let's get into it. Holy post, but it's a good one, Shane. Welcome back. Shane says, I am back. I renewed to stay with the fam, and I've made a vow to myself to be more engaged. I've been lurking in the shadows and not taking the 7 pillars seriously like I did when I joined the Swole fam back in 2019. Settled? Fam, settle down. Be nice. I have restarted the 90-day dash at 250 pounds, and my goal weight for my health, and just because I know where I believe my body and joints will thank me, is about 210. Both of those numbers are a far cry from the 387 I started last July, and when I found I needed surgery for a hiatal hernia and also decided to have gastric bypass. Am I, quote, married to that number? Hell no. I am going to go back to being focused on the right nutrition for me, lifting and yoga for recovery. I remember telling Papa back in 2019 that one of my friends said I had gotten so far down the yoga path that I was a Subaru and a pair of Birkenstocks away from living an alternate female lifestyle. My goals are to be active and yet also find more mental balance in my life by the end of the cycle of the 90-day dash. Time to go back into the archives, like when I first showed up listening to Daily Swole on episode 963 on Christmas Day 2018. I remember it because it was called Bring Your Own Shit and talked about if my family doesn't eat right, or if family doesn't eat right and you struggle, take your own meals to your gatherings. Truth. I also love episode number 7, which was Know Your Why. And since YouTube is so harsh, it is hard to find on the other platforms. But I remember the episode well. Expect to see me around more and more, and I look forward to getting to know you all like I did the OGs from back then in 2019 when I met Christy. She is missed. Christina, John, and others who are gone from the fam or that are hiding in the weeds. And people do hide in the weeds. There's a lot of people that hide in the weeds. You know, they're members or they're still members, but you haven't heard. And it's actually, just to pause there for a second, it's always interesting when I see a name pop up like Shane, or a lot of people that are members or they fall off, and we all know how it goes, but the whole point is here to not make excuses and to not fall off anymore. But I get it. Not everyone can plug into the podcast every day. It's an hour plus every day, and it's random time. So sometimes you're at work, you're doing stuff. It's hard to schedule and then catch up on episodes. And then you listen to ones intermittently now and again. But again, going back to what Shane was saying, we could talk about it more after I finish this post, is plug in. That way you're more, if you're plugged in and you're engaged, then you're going to be getting a lot more of this. Even if you can't catch the podcast every day or on time, you can stay part of the conversation, the chat, or catch the round table, catch up to speed. Anyway, the picks are for my accountability. I will take better ones, but I will post progress at least once a month. Check in daily as part of my mindset change and living out the 7 pillars and, quote, mowing my own lawn, since I forgot and tried to live for others and not myself. Thanks for the support, and I'm looking forward to yoga today and going to the sauna for some me time. The photo on the left is in the ocean from 2020 after my COVID meltdown, which was around 387 pounds. Woo! You were juicy. The photo to its right is me last week in the sauna, 250 pounds. Man, that's a huge difference. The other photo is me on a cruise in 2023, and the last photo is a month or so ago. Am I where I want to be? No. However, I am working on now to, quote, honor or hashtag honor my future self, and to be honest and responsible to myself for my actions, habits, and results. I look forward to getting to know more of you and hearing your names on the podcast. And Papa has always known, feel free to share anything I post. Well, I certainly will. The powerlifting days are over. Now it's time to make some sick gains, make me mobile and healthy. Well, there you go. Right on. Right on. Right on. Good stuff. Oh, yeah, what was happening here? Let me me get some gorillas one more time. Okay, that's why. I was hearing some weird feedback. Can you guys hear that? Okay. All right, cool. Now I think I see what's going on. All right. So let's move on. Thank you so much for sharing, Shane. And you were definitely a beached whale on that left side. You were juicy. And I can say that because you're no longer juicy. I'm not just going to see a picture. Here's my before picture. Man, you're huge. I can say that because you knew you were huge. But man, the way you look now, amazing progress. So there's a lot here to unpack from Shane's post. But, I think one of the most, I would say, humbling things about the Swole fam, a lot of you have been members for a long time. But I think what's also says a lot about the Swole fam, and Swolenormous X and what we do here is when someone does leave, the coming back. That always catches me and hits me a little bit differently because there's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of communities out there. There's a lot of places you can be. You could be on any single podcast. You could be listening to, a lot of them suck and there's no knowledge cock on them, but you could be listening to any number of things right now, watching, listening, even whenever you're listening to it. And, someone that has experienced the Swole fam that leaves and falls back and then comes back, of course you'd want someone to join, plug in, get amazing results, and then never leave. But of course, things happen. And to return specifically to the Swole fam, it makes me feel good and glad that you're here and looking forward to getting you success, man. Looking forward to being here. But again, I think the most important thing to realize is that you have to do the engaging, is my point. You have to do the engaging. So you have to show up for you. You've probably heard that term. Show up for yourself. You got to show up for yourself. And you could join the Swole fam. And I say this a lot. You join the Swole fam. We can't do the programs for you. I'll sit here and say, that's why on all my videos, I say, go to the fucking gym. You know why? Because I can't go to the fucking gym for you. I went to the fucking gym today. I can't make you go to the fucking gym, but you should go to the fucking gym, but I can't make you. So you're the one that needs to do that. It's your responsibility to do the things. We have the app coming. We have Swolenormous X, and that's, what the app is going to feature the content and more. It's just, you have to do it. You can sign up and get a membership. I appreciate it. I want you to use the value. I want you to use the membership. And it's frustrating. Some people sign up and they just never do it. And it's not a failure of the Swole fam. It's not a failure of the content. It's not a failure of what we do here. It's whether or not you use it. So, it doesn't train itself. It doesn't get off its own fucking ass, right? You have to do it. And I'm grateful that you came back home, Shane. You came back home. Good man. Good man. Glad to have you back. All right. Jose says, accountability post. I'm focusing on nutrition. I've used my recent constant travel as an excuse to stuff myself with non-nutrient dense foods. Well, that's a nice politically correct way to whitewash that you were eating ultra processed garbage. What wordsmithing that took. I've used my recent constant travel as an excuse to stuff myself with non-nutrient dense foods. I love it. Should that be a new shirt or a video style? Get that non-nutrient dense food out of your fucking mouth. I'll be making my meals every night before, so I'm not worried about it the next day. Good for you, Jose. Keep us posted. Don't eat non-nutrient dense foods. All right, and one from Melissa, and then we'll get into some emails. Hi, Papa. I'm sticking with my usual theme of being consistently consistent with all 7 pillars. Nothing exciting, and I feel that's a good thing to stay consistent, execute daily, and keep making gains with all 7 pillars. Thanks for everything. All right. Indeed. All right. I didn't hear that applause. There we go. That one glitched out on me a little bit. Oh, I think I see what's going on. Okay, hold on a second. Let me where's my sound? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, there we go. Okay. I want to I don't know why the system audio. Don't worry about it. As long as you could hear the soundboards, it was cutting off if I changed the screen. There's something weird going on. So, all right, I'll fix that after. I went to just fix it now, but I think it might shut down the stream and restart. So I don't want to do that. All right, let's get into a couple of email responses. We got one that's really short and sweet. And, we got three. All right, we'll take the last one first if you want to go on the email list. And again, on the side of the screen, I had the 7 pillars there. That's what Melissa was referring to. If you don't know what those are, head on over to swolenormousx.com and download your copy of the 7 pillars. That's also in the description down below. All right, makeemailswoleagain.com to get on the email list. Let's get into a couple emails. The first one, don't feel like training today. Tammy says, did a 40-minute walk this morning and some calisthenics training, pull-ups, push-ups, squats. Focus is on getting stronger with those specific movements. Michelle says, today was legs alpha. Holy shit.
Wow.
Looking forward to my yoga tomorrow and walk. Thanks, Papa, from Michelle. Good for you. Good for you. Kylie says, hello, Papa. Going to the fucking gym has never been my problem. I'm completely in love with lifting and would rather lift than do a lot of other things, LOL. However, in my life, staying disciplined applies to changing my eating habits and getting quality sleep. It's hard to break habits and say no to cravings, but it's getting easier the longer I do it. Today, I'm doing an upper body push day. My split is 2 days on, 1 day off with upper and lower body. I find this to be the best for my body to recover and still grow. Hashtag GTTFG, hashtag stay swole, Kylie / Miss Texas Fit. I like how you're signing that now. That's great. Now we know. I appreciate that. Sometimes I don't know who the fuck it is. And I feel like I should, you know. All right, let's get into some knowledge cock. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Give me some color. Give me some flavor. Fam, let's get into some questions. You ready? Are you ready? Hashtag Ask Papa Swolio to be featured on the Mancast. Jimmy Lambert.
What's in the box?
873. Jimmy. Papa Swolio, all I do is abs and leg workouts because my job does the arms, but why no abs yet? Wow, man. That's a weird fucking question. All I do is abs and leg workouts because my job does the arms. You should still train your body. You're not doing progressive overload. People don't understand progressive overload. If you do physical labor, you might build a little muscle depending on what you're doing, but only so far as that overload is provided. It's not progressive, so you're not going to keep building muscle. You don't have abs because you probably eat like garbage. And you don't really lift weights and build muscle. You probably eat shit. You probably sleep like shit. Probably have a lot of estrogenics around you. There's probably a lot of problems. So thanks for the lack of details. Why no abs yet? Jimmy eat too much. Nunu Ham on the YouTubes. Jimmy giving hand jobs for a living. Maybe.
Because
He might be. We don't know. That's the thing. I don't know what you're doing, Jimmy. Maybe Jimmy is giving hand jobs. Maybe Jimmy has an OnlySwole. OnlySwole.com. Jimmy might actually have an account on OnlySwole.com. He might. It's possible. All right. Nunu Ham, Papa Swolio. Hi, Papa. How much time between each reps? Thanks. Each repetition, you don't need time between. If you're doing a squat and you want to pause at the full stretch position, sometimes that could be applicable, but you don't have to. The reason why you might hear the term stretch mediated hypertrophy, that's really going to happen more for new lifters. So the calves, you really only want to train in the stretch position, stretch to neutral. But stretch mediated hypertrophy doesn't really happen once you get a little bit more intermediate with lifting, because you can't progressively stretch the muscle. It's just going to be stretched, and then you're not going to have more stretch adaptations once you adapt to that, but you will have overload adaptations. You will have from the concentric contractions, from the progressive overload from the lifting. Sheena, it would have been hysterical if your app was called Only Swole. That is kind of cool. That's a cool idea. It'd be, yeah, that would be cool. Damn it. Should change it? Shit. We could change the name. I don't have to brand that, because then I'm going to have to change all the pages. We have the Swolenormous YouTube, right? Got the Swolenormous Instagram. We got the Swolenormous Facebook. X, AKA Twitter. Sheena, we could all say we have Only Swole accounts. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I will change it. I'll just say OS instead of OF. Maybe I'll change it. I want an Only Swole account. Well, fine. We'll go to onlyswole.com. Shaggy Space Dude. Let's see. How do you push past appetite limits to make sure you're getting a sufficient calorie excess, parentheses bulking? This might be one of the best questions. Let's give a round of applause. I don't want to just, I have no problem giving shit to questions that are kind of like, meh. On Instagram, I know a lot of, but I should positively reinforce what a good question sounds like. So I appreciate it. Well, you have to break up your meals to eat more frequently, focus more on protein, and eat that more frequently throughout the day. What I think the bigger conversation is that you don't need much of an excess. A lot of people get fat or too fat. In other words, they eat more than they need to, because you're not trying to bulk. I use the term bulking. But it's slang. Okay. It's slang. So a calorie surplus or a protein surplus is really all it means. You don't need much. We're talking about 200 calories, you don't need much, because enough is going to be enough. Because your body has to lay those contractile proteins. Your body has to make those adaptations from the progressive overload. If your strength keeps on increasing, you're going to be building muscle, and then you just increase slowly over time, and you can keep your body fat much lower than you don't need to bulk. So I think the problem is people think of the term bulking. What you really want to think about is building muscle. You want to build muscle. You don't want to bulk. It's easy to bulk because it's a bullshit excuse. It's an excuse. It's quote unquote easy to bulk because people use that as an excuse to eat garbage and eat candy. And it's like, well, I'm bulking. Let me eat these chocolate bars. I'm going to go eat Halloween bullshit and drink alcohol because it's calories. I'm bulking. I can go eat McDonald's. So you justify your addictions and your terrible habits because you're quote bulking, but you're going to get fat. Do you want if you're trying to build muscle, do you want the scale to go up? I always tell people this. I would say this to women. And women don't know how to answer because they actually do. They're so obsessed with the number on the scale. They don't care if they look exactly the way they want to. They want to see that number lower. It's like a sickness with a lot of people on the scale, but especially women. For me, I don't care if the scale says 250 or it says 180. Let's say I'm muscular and I'm lean and I feel great and I look in the mirror, like I feel great. I look great. Let's say you have what you want. I don't care what the number says. I don't care if it says 130 pounds. It wouldn't say 130. But my point is, you don't have to attach yourself to a number. That's just the way that we quantify things, because 180 is bigger than 175. And if I'm 180, I want to get bigger, then it must be 182. But you don't really want to be 182 unless you're going to be 2 pounds more of muscle. And you don't build that fast. It takes time. So you got to keep that in mind. The term bulking just associates with eating shit, but we should really call it gaining. And when you think about it, you're always in a gaining phase. Even if you want to lose weight, you don't want to lose muscle, but that's what people end up doing when they starve themselves or they take Ozempic and they want to see the number go down. They actually lose muscle. And you don't want to lose muscle. You want to build muscle. You don't want extra fat. So you don't need much of a surplus. You need enough protein. And then you just need to allow your body to have the time to build that tissue. And if you see your strength going up, and if your strength is starting to plateau, maybe you increase your protein a little bit. Maybe you add another 100, 200 calories, and then you'll see some more recovery, or your body will have more fuel and it'll take some from your fat stores. If you see those numbers go up, you're doing the right thing. You don't have to be increasing your calories all the time. Because remember, adding more lean tissue that's going to utilize energy, that's going to utilize calories, it's going to take a long time to do that. So the amount of food that people eat and put on weight in a week, in 2 weeks, you're not building that much muscle all the time. So when people see the scale going up, they're just gaining fat. And you don't notice it as fat when you're let's say you're leaner and you gain a little bit. You don't really notice it. You might seem a little bit softer, but you can gain 5 or 10 pounds of some water and some others and fat, and not really notice that you're that less, because you're seeing it like a teapot boil or paint drying. You don't notice that you still see some veins, or you still see some definition. But then of course it progresses, and eventually you realize, you see a picture of yourself a year ago, holy shit, I'm fat, because it was just happening slowly over time. So in other words, you don't need to, that's what people call dirty bulking. But I just think the term bulking, people think they have to eat so much more than they actually really need to, is my point. If you're maintaining at 2,500, then 2,700, 2,750, you don't need that much more. Eat more protein. In other words, see how you're going. If you are getting stronger, if your weights keep going up, you're doing 200 pounds for 6, and then you're 210, and then 220 for 6, and then you're doing 230 for 7, you're getting stronger. You're building muscle. Just keep going. That could be a factor of increasing your food. Once you hit certain plateaus and you start seeing those numbers, or fatigue, or you're not recovering as well, or you're just kind of hitting a wall, that could be and you could do it over time, but that would be a sign, hey, maybe I need to eat a little bit more. And you don't have to eat much, right? It might be a few more bites of steak twice a day. It's not that big of a difference. Good question. Went deeper than I anticipated, but that's what we do. We like to get the balls slapping. The knowledge cock, but when we go balls deep, obviously that's what it means. So
we choose truth over facts.
Zadipa Zabeta. That's what she said. Gratuitous taint. There we go. Oh, there's the mustard man. Cute. Very nice. AJ Star Hiker. I have to move 40 to 45 pound items at work. I still go to the gym and lift. It's made moving those items so much easier and less painful. Indeed. He continues, since I'm working on building muscle, I'm at a weight where I don't see it changing much. I'm more interested in how my pants fit. I get you. Good. More questions. We'll take 1 or 2 more. Let's see. Raul Raktim Roy. What's your hair routine, man? I wash it every couple weeks. Sometimes I'll put in a braid, or when I get my beard done, maybe I'll wash it before the next time, or I don't wash it for a week or 2. People wash their hair way too much. It depends on what you're doing for work and how much you're sweating, and but some people wash their fucking hair every day. You shouldn't be doing that. It's not good. And they're using toxic shit. So natural stuff. I don't really put any oils in it, but we have some no phthalates, no estrogenic products, just a shampoo and conditioner. But I always say it's from the sun, it's from my nutrition, my diet, it's from the collagen that I consume, bone broth and liver, and getting sunlight and lots of healthy fats and protein. Genetics help too, but of course, if your nutrition's garbage, I'm a pure blood also. Mama Swole does hair, and a lot of people that got the vax, their hair is like thinning and has really affected hair quality for a lot of women. So just a side thing. But remember, hair, skin, and nails comes from what your lifestyle's like. Hog wild. Let's get a question. Is this a comment? It's a both. It's a both. A question and a comment. All right. Hog wild. Papa Swolio, I'm blown away by how effective the low volume workouts are in maximum swole. How long would you recommend sticking to a split? Question mark. A couple weeks without improvement? Question mark. Well, the split, people change their splits too much. There's this weird obsession for changing splits. You don't have to ever change it. You never have to change it. So a couple weeks without improvement isn't necessarily the split. So this is another good question. So it's not necessarily the split. I don't know if Melissa is here. I think it was Melissa. When she was talking about changing her split, I think it was on Swole Text. She was talking about changing her split. And then I told her, just leave a rep or two in the tank. Because even if you're doing low volume and you're going to failure, it depends on look, because there's so many factors. It's how you sleep. It's your nutrition. It's stress in your life. It's how long you're recovering, right? It's your fundamental split, what body parts you're doing. It's also the frequency. It's also the intensity. So it's not necessarily the sets. It's not necessarily the exercise selection. It might be your training, even if you're doing 1 or 2 sets for an exercise or for a body part, if you're doing both to failure, that might be too much. So it might not be the exercise. It might not be the exercise selection. It might not be the order. It might not be the rest periods. It might not be the nutrition. It might not be the split. It might not be the sleep. It might not be all those things. What it might be is you are fatigued because you're doing, of the 6 sets you do for a workout, or 8 sets or 4 sets, of those sets, based on your split, based on everything that you're doing, you're going to failure. Like your failure, maybe you're going to failure and doing like partial reps, and that's fatiguing you too much. So maybe you leave a rep in the tank. Remember, you can, if you're loading properly, you can leave 1 rep in the tank. You could do 1 RIR. You can even do 2. So if you're doing 5 or 6 repetitions, you can have 1 more in the tank and save yourself a lot of fatigue and get all the benefits of the exercise. You don't have to go to 0 RIR. You don't have to go to failure. You don't have to fail on the last repetition. So, and you might find, hey, I feel a lot better by leaving 1 in the tank. Or if you do 2 sets and you're doing both to failure, do 1 heavy, leaving 1 in the tank, and the last set can go to failure. Just use it more sparingly. So my point being is, just because you hit a plateau, even for a couple of weeks, just because you hit a plateau, my point is, it might not be the split itself. It could be other factors. And when you say a couple of weeks without improvement, I will be honest with you. If you're doing it properly, you don't go a couple of weeks without improvement. You really don't. You're going to get that extra rep in a couple. If you're doing it properly, in every exercise doesn't necessarily go up. But if you load properly, right? So if you're doing an exercise and you think you're going to add, let's just say, because it depends on how you train and how the machine and how you can load it. Sometimes people will do a machine and for squats, and they'll put a 10 on each side for squats, or for a leg exercise. They'll put 10 on each side. Because it says, 10's not much. Or their gym doesn't have any lower than 10 or 5, and they just had 10s. That's really 20 pounds. That's a big increase. And it might take 2 reps away, or it might, what they should have been doing is adding 1 pound on each side, or adding a repetition, or adding a 2.5 on each side. So in order to make progress, you might be doing 4 reps or 5 reps of a certain weight. And then if you added 5 on each side, maybe you can't do 5 reps. You can only do 2 or 3. What if you added 1 pound on each side? Most gyms don't have 1 pound plates. My point is, you could get a set of 4. You can get 4 1 pound plates and put them in your gym bag. You can get half pound plates. You can get quarter pound plates. My point is, there are ways to make that progressive overload, because if you're doing 5 reps and you're stuck and a certain machine or a certain thing can't go, you have to increase by 10 pounds or 5 pounds. Maybe you want to increase 1 pound. You could probably get 1 extra pound and still hit the same amount of reps. Guess what? That's progressive overload. You might not feel the difference of that pound because of the exercise, but it's objectively more weight. So anyway, that being said, if you're doing it properly, you can still make that progress. And understand that every exercise won't always improve. You might have workouts where every exercise you get a little bit stronger. And it's a big day. And I love those days. I had that day. I had the day today. I did anterior tibialis and I did calf raises or a calf exercise. Both numbers were up. And then I did glutes. I did 45-degree hypers with the glutes. That went up. That was a big day. That was a big day. That was awesome. So I improved on the resistance bands I was using for that exercise. Then I went to the adductor machine, hit a PR there. Then I did the seated leg curl, hit a PR there. And then I had a good day. I just did leg extensions and I haven't done them in a while. And I've been working through some stuff with my knee. Feels good, but I was just pulling back with today for the quads. I just wanted to do, so I did 3 sets, nothing really crazy. Haven't done leg extensions in a little bit and it was great. So I had a really good workout, but you're not going to see overall like massive improvements every time you train. Some days you might hit the same numbers. Sometimes it goes down a little bit, slightly. Sometimes you'll have one exercise that does better. The other one, you kind of get the same amount of reps. So it depends. So I think I know I talked about a lot of stuff, but I think the real answer to your question is if you're hitting the same thing, it's not necessarily your split. Just pull back from how many reps you go towards failure. Leave one in the tank because that taking off that little bit of extra fatigue will help you if you're incurring less fatigue, but getting the same or even just slightly different. You know, if you're not let's say that last rep to failure, you go all the way to failure. That versus leaving one in the tank, the difference in fatigue is dramatic. And the difference in improvement from doing the fatigue, like the return on that last rep is not as much as people think. The fatigue you're incurring makes more of a difference because if you create a similar stimulus, but you don't dig yourself into as much of a hole, you don't get as fatigued from it, you'll recover faster, you'll feel better overall, you'll build more muscle and you'll progress. You'll be able to go heavier or do that extra rep or, you know, the next session. Make sense? CHPS03, absolutely fantastic question. Papa Swolio, how can I get juicy biceps and chest like you, Papa Swolio? Make those sick fucking gains, eat well, and literally what I just told Hog Wild, progressive overload. I've just been training for a long time. Progressive overload, learning different things, but take a lot from what we're just talking about with high intensity and lower volume. I mean, it's not really lower volume. This is the thing. It's not lower volume. It's low volume relative to what most people think is regular volume. Okay. So I also want to clarify that too. When I say low volume in a workout for a body part, in one workout, 2 sets within like a rep of failure, that's not low volume. It sounds like low volume because people are thinking I usually do 3 exercises, 3 sets each. Yeah, but they're usually sub-max sets. They're incurring a lot of fatigue, doing a lot of damage, and not making progress. So the thing is, you might not be sore and be able to do the 3 sets of 10 or whatever, but you might not make progress. You might get a pump every time, but you're not actually making progress. You're not going up in weight as enough. You're not really tracking it closely. You're not really pushing the boundaries. You're just getting a pump at the gym. You're doing 9 sets, but you're not really recovering enough to do, get that 8th rep. A lot of people are doing pump workouts, and I've done that too. And you can grow from that. It's just not as linear in the sense it's not as specific. It's not as intentful, and you won't make as much progress if you're just going for a temporary pump because you're not usually progressively overloading enough. Hogwild says, I thought absolute failure was the goal. No. So again, we'll stay on this topic because it's important. So absolute failure is not the goal. That's just a fatigue. You're talking about just like exhaustion. If that was the goal, people would just train for like 6 hours and do as many sets as possible, right? So volume is not the goal. Failure is not the goal. What would you say the goal is? Drop in the chat. I won't wait too long. I'll waste your time. So failure is not the goal. Volume is not the goal. What is the goal? To build muscle. To progressive overload. To progressively overload. The goal is to get the extra rep. The goal is to add another pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds. So the goal is the progressive overload. And when you shift your idea, I know what you're thinking. Absolute failure is the goal. The stimulus is the goal. The progressive overload will provide the stimulus. So progressively overloading, if you're doing 200 pounds for 5 reps, your goal is 6 reps. And then your goal is 7 reps. And then your goal is to do 205 pounds for 5 reps. And then 205 pounds for 6 reps. And 205 pounds for 8 reps. And then 210 pounds for 6 reps. That's progressive overload. So you're overloading, providing the stimulus, and then your body will adapt to be able to handle that. So failure is not the goal. The overload is the goal. So if you think about it, if failure is the goal, what are you going to do? You're going to exhaust yourself. You're going to fatigue yourself a lot. So the goal is to provide the stimulus and then recover. You want as little fatigue for the stimulus as possible. Not the lowest overall fatigue, because you don't want to just do, I did one really hard rep and that's it. Well, that's not enough to stimulate growth. What you want to do is maximize your benefit, the stimulus, and while keeping the fatigue as low as possible for the stimulus that you need. And that's going to be different. Some people you can't train as frequently. You might need more recovery. Maybe your recoverability is low as an individual. It takes you longer to recover. So you need to adjust your intensity and your volume and your frequency. Some people, you can make progress doing a lot of different things. So I'm kind of tweaking my split a little bit and trying to make it a little bit more dynamic. I'm playing around with a couple different ideas. But there's certain body parts that I feel I'm shifting things because I feel like I need a little bit more recovery for certain things to give it 100%. I feel like I need a little bit more recovery physically and psychologically in order to maximize my results. So it's okay to revisit these things, but anyway, it's not always a split. And failure is not the goal. The goal is that progressive overload. So failure just incurs more fatigue, and it's usually more than necessary. Bird 46, do you do any kettlebell workouts? Not lately, but I have lots of kettlebells. I've done a lot of kettlebell stuff, but I haven't been kettlebell focused in a year or so. I did a lot of kettlebells for like I would say about like 3 years. I did 2 or 3 years. I did a lot of kettlebell focused training. I was a lot thinner. I was a lot, leaner. It was like, it's more cardio based and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with it. It was good. But then I got really into machines and building out my gym and packing on muscle and focus on strength training. So I might go back to it at some point. You never know. Different seasons, but not lately. I might use kettlebells for certain exercise or certain movements or mobility stuff. So I do use some of them, but I'm not doing like heavy kettlebell swings lately. Hog Wild says, gotcha. I'm under the old school belief that you won't improve unless you absolutely squeeze every ounce out of your last set. Yeah. And again, so was I for a while. So was I. But what happens? You get super sore, right? You get super sore. Like you train and you're going to failure, you're doing a lot of volume, right? I used to train. So like I would, quote unquote, crush my chest. And it would be like, oh my God, I'd be moved. And it would just be like, my chest is so sore. Again, but then it comes down to, maturing and realizing after all the years, soreness is not the goal. Soreness is not what builds you muscle. It usually means you provided the stimulus, you provided overload, but that doesn't mean you're going to get growth, because that's a lot of fatigue. That's a lot of damage. Like when you're, oh my God, you can barely raise your arm and you're sore to the touch like that, you're not going to be able to train your chest for 5, 6, 7 days. And that fatigue and that drain, it's not like you can go and just train your back when your chest is absolutely fucked. It's the same body. The same body is trying to repair the chest and deal with that inflammation. Then you're crushing your back the same way. Then your whole upper body is fucked. And then you're going to go and smash your fucking legs, which is the most physiologically taxing area to train for most people. Just physiologically, the loading is just the greatest. So it's like then your upper body, every part of your upper body is absolutely fucked, and then you're going to go destroy your legs. And then after that, well, I didn't train my back, my chest for 3 days and everything else is fucking sore. I'm going to try it again. And then, hey, I'm sore as shit. So then you're going to go do intense cardio. Your body is drained. So your body can adapt to a point, but there's going to come a point where you're just not going to grow anymore. Or you're going to have injuries or your hormones are going to tank and you're going to be depressed. You know, people, their mood sucks. We're going to do more of these questions and then we might wrap up. We might just do like one video for Balls Deep, but we're not going to do much tonight. It's late. Wrap it up. But I'll do more of these questions because we're on a roll. Brum, right. How many sets or time do you spend with the weighted bat? I'll do it for upper body days and sometimes on off days, but on upper body days, I'll swing 5 or 10 minutes. I'll just do, 5-6 round my left, my right, just simple swing. And I don't do like turn around and hold it out. And I don't do club like strength training like that. I'll do basic swings, but I love the maces. I love the stuff. Just with like the strength training, the bulking program, I haven't done a lot because I used to go heavy and do a lot of mace stuff, and that was great. But you really have to, you can combine. And when people say, well, I do both, I lift heavy and then I do heavy mace stuff, you really got to pick your adaptation. Because if you're training your triceps, you're doing like heavy strength training, that kind of overload, and then picking up a heavy, it's just more overload strength training. So you have to be really careful with the tendons. So if I do that stuff with my weights, if I do the mace and I do this stuff, I'm just going really light. Because going heavy and swinging for strength and hard training, it's going to fatigue me and it's going to eat into the lifting. So if I stop or if I kind of shift out of like my current phase, maybe when I go back to that, but you can still swing it frequently. It's got to go light. It's like going for a walk. Jones, 1986 UK. What program to start in Swolenormous for beginners? The 90-day dash or Swole Mastery. Or you could start with Swollen Sevens. There's a lot of places you could start, but the foundational program is the 90-day dash. Cerny says, I do my clubs before every workout. You can, even for leg day. I could do some clubs and I can do reverse sled or do some dead hangs. I'm just going to read this so we can get out of the folder. Maffer Mezamena, 1980. What things should I eat to get my tummy flat again? Check our content on the elimination diet. Carnivore and fruit for like a couple months. Your tummy will get flat. Estrogenics, it's a very vague question. How do I lose fat? Lift weights, 7 pillars. We're not going to go into
Matt Damon.
Again, tummy flat doesn't mean body fat. You could also have a lot of bloating, and bloating will come from poor nutritional habits, inflammation, right? In the gut and all that stuff. Yeah, we got a bunch of things from X. I'm not going to go into all that right now. Let's see what we got. Maybe we got a video. I don't know. Let's go into the balls deep because we got to move on. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That's deep. Let's see if anything good. Oh, this looks funny. We'll watch this one. Anyway, hit the like button, rumble.com/the Daily Swole. And of course, before we watch a video here, Ugly Christmas Sweatshirt Signature Series. swolenormousx.com/signature. swolenormousx.com/signature. Last day, the only day. I think we got like an hour or two left. This is a one-time print and it's going out shortly. So Ugly Christmas Sweatshirt, the 12th release of the Signature Series. And that is available today only. So you only have an hour or two left. And it's a mystery design. Ugly Christmas Sweatshirt, shipping shortly. So go and get yours today. Last chance. It's almost over. And it'll never be released again. The one-time release. Hogwild says there are some Swollen Sevens that kick my fucking ass. Those? Swollen Seven is, I wouldn't say it's underrated, but Swollen Sevens will catch up on you. Some of those they're sneaky. You think like, oh, I'll do this 7 minutes. And then at the end, you're like, oh, what the fuck? And they're great for the club and the May stuff. All right, this one's called
What's in the box?
Let me see. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to do I want to see your ugly face today. Let's do this one. Maybe this will be the one we do. This one's called 3-month-olds are racist. 3-month. Oh, what are you going to say about this?
One commonly held misconception about race is that the conversation is not appropriate at certain ages. Babies start noticing race as early as 3 months of age. Racial biases can develop between 4 and 5 years.
Babies also know when, hey, this is different. This doesn't look like mommy. Okay.
Teachers and adults play a crucial role in shaping children's attitudes towards race. And silence about race can reinforce racism.
And so when we fail to intervene or delay these important conversations for the perfect moment or the perfect picture book, what we're doing is we're creating a vacuum for a child to start absorbing all of the biased, anti-Black, anti-immigrant ways of interpreting the patterns that they're seeing in the world.
The research indicates that silence about race can reinforce racism.
Children actively negotiate messages about race.
Oh, stop. I got.
Matt Damon.
Gotta play it again. Did you hear what you just said? Not talking about race. The research indicates not talking about race is racist. What? Wait, hold on a second.
Indicates that silence about race can reinforce racism.
Children.
The research shows that not talking about racism can be racist. So you have to talk about it all the time. And then you're not racist. Rufus, that's enough.
Research indicates that silence about race can reinforce racism.
Children actively negotiate messages about race.
Children actively negotiate. All right, they're in a back room. They're in a back room like a Coke deal from Blow. They're in a back room. All right, let's get this messaging on race correct. All right, let's get together. Hey, you baby, come over here. What's your name? Fredwick. Babies are negotiating messages about race. These fucking people are absolutely fucking insane.
You fucking people.
They are fucking insane. You're voting for this insanity? Yeah, if you vote left, if you vote for Kamala Harris, you're voting in favor of these ass clowns. They're voting for her. That should tell you enough. It's fucking crazy people have been getting away with essentially like just child abuse for way too long. Okay, let's continue.
Negotiate messages about race. If educators don't create intentional conversations, students learn about race from the dominant culture.
Which was not racist. Which was not racist. Yeah, we weren't obsessed with race until it was injected back in by Obama, and all the leftists just raged it all back. Fucking great. From the dominant culture. What are you talking about? Again, it's all gaslighting. What do you think the dominant culture is? The dominant culture has been obsessed with race for the past decade. BLM. Okay. The dominant culture. Yeah, that's you. That's you.
Learn about race from the dominant culture.
It always has to be, see this? It always has to be based on, right? The nuclear rant we talked about yesterday. It's always oppression dynamics. There has to be a victim. We're not the dominant. They're so mean to us. They're overpressure. Trump is Hitler. Mm-hmm. Ooh, you mean peoples.
If we don't give students a hand with dominant culture, if we don't give students a hand, they will figure out their own ideas.
No.
Great Scott!
Oh, this is all full of soundboards. I am going to tear this one apart. This chick, this old hag. This is Rachel Maddow in like 6 years.
From the dominant culture. If we don't give students
I love that punch in.
From the dominant culture.
Hold on, come on.
Don't create intent. If educators don't actively negotiate.
What a conversation. What a stretch. Children's gonna negotiate with one another. They might think for themselves.
Children actively negotiate messages about race. If educators don't create intentional conversations,
if we don't obsess about it,
students learn about race from the dominant culture.
Punch in. Yeah.
If we don't give students a hand, they will figure out their own ideas. They will figure out a hand. They will give students a hand.
Bro. And broettes. How insane is that? How insane is that? She said this out loud, yeah.
If we don't give students a hand, they will figure out their own ideas.
And my existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, saves lives.
And if we don't give them a hand, they're going to come up with their own ideas. Oh, they're going to think for themselves. Oh, that was enough. That was enough. Swole card time. Fam. Yeah. Woo. All right. By the way, tomorrow we will have an overtime segment. We got 2 throwback DWGs. No new DWG this week, but we do have an overtime segment tomorrow with brand new balls deep edits. And tomorrow's episode, we're going to go a lot deeper. We got a lot of stuff to go over, a lot of stuff that I've been posting. We'll go into the X-Files a little bit more tomorrow. And got a lot to get into. So we'll go through a lot more of like the current events and stuff. In tomorrow's episode, we'll bring that in for the new month, November 1st. All right, so tomorrow, Fefcast, overtime. It's going to be great. Let's get with the Swole card. Swoloween. Here we go. 3, 2, Schwam Falcon. Pick me a winner for the Swoloween card. Happy Swoloween, everyone. Don't eat any candy. Go eat a steak and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to bed. Goodness gracious. Today's winner of the Swole card is, trying to get the highlight. Who's this? That's a new one. Wasash 128. Congratulations. Happy Swoloween. All right, good for you. Congratulations. Welcome. Congratulations. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. A Swole card. Let me bring that back up. Swole card 31 hundo in the subject, and your mailing address in the body of the email, and we will send you this very Swole card. Isn't that great? Congratulations. Congratulations. Good job, motherfucker. It says Dewey. I agree. Good job, motherfucker. Fam, tomorrow's going to be a great show. Like I said, we'll get into more of this balls deep content. Got a lot of stuff in the X-Files. We'll get into a lot of trending shit. So go enjoy the rest of your night. Yeah. Fuck yeah, Wasash. That's awesome. Go get a good night's sleep. Get those red lights on. All this is just going right off after today's show. And we'll see you tomorrow for the Fefcast. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcast, share it with your friends, thumbs up, and check out the merch. Oh, I guess the most important thing, the most pending thing that I had, check out the merch, papasoy.com, join the fam, swolenormousx.com, that old chestnut. But the most current thing, the most pending thing is grabbing the ugly Christmas sweatshirt. So that ends tonight. There's like an hour or two left, but you still have a chance to grab that. So have a one-of-a-kind sweatshirt. That's going to be awesome seeing everyone wear their ugly Christmas sweatshirts. And it's going to be great. So go pick up yours right now. swolenormousx.com/ that's right, signature. swolenormousx.com/signature. And if you don't know how to spell signature, Google it, motherfucker. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose, your boy Papa Swolio. Out.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the
skeletons on closets and make a new deposit.